Thank you, and good morning, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, New Indian Express, for having decided to organize this rather unusual panel on an unusual subject of limericks. Limericks have suddenly shot into a little bit more of prominence in recent times. They're associated, of course, incorrectly with the limerick in Ireland, because there is no evidence anywhere in the world of limericks ever having originated in the limerick in Ireland. If you went and asked people in Ireland about limericks, they would probably not know about them. Limericks are very much English in origin. They are short, pithy, witty, sometimes somewhat bawdy as well. The classic limerick style is one with 5 lines, and the rhyming structure goes A, B, B, A, with the last line somewhat longer than the rest. And the classic one, my memory is no longer as good as it used to be, so please correct me if I'm citing it wrong, is there was an old man with a beard who said, "It's just as I feared, 2 owls and a hen, 4 larks and a wren have built their nests in my beard." So that's the classic limerick format. Probably limericks have become a bit more fashionable now because of the advent of social media. And the reason I'm saying this is the old Twitter format of 140 characters was amenably suitable to the limerick structure. And therefore, a lot of people have begun to write limericks, not just in India, also overseas, on topics that are newsy, on topics that are popular, on topics that are political. The reason I'm here, these two are almost like professional limericists. The reason I'm here is because I write a limerick Monday to Friday for Mint. And those limericks are somewhat popular on social media. Unfortunately, I did decide to publish a book of limericks a few years ago. Publishing books on poetry is hazardous stuff, particularly on limericks that happen to be topical. They don't have a long shelf life. But there are classic limericks. So with those words, I will ask the panelists to respond to this issue of limericks. Let me just say the following. There is an old man, this one, there is an old man without a beard who said, "It's just as I feared. New Indian Express has created the din when humor and wit wore thin, and the panelists had nothing to love for. The panelists had nothing to love. The panelists didn't war." Oh dear, forget it. Loved and cheered. Okay, so shall we start with Aparna?
Hello. Yeah, I hope the mic is working. So I must say that I'm a little scared. We started this morning with a very powerful, almost spiritual session in which Ms. Vashisht, while talking about Kashmiriyat and, the great yogi poet, in the Kashmiri language, the language itself is lyrical, and it you don't need to rhyme. But what scared me was she said that it was not like rhyme, which matches with time. And I was wondering that I hope I don't have time in anything that I'm going to say. Having said that, I thank Mr. Debroy for pointing out that limericks are becoming popular, but we do expect limericks always to be funny most of the time. But I have a dictum which says, perhaps in the Limericks rhyme, you always expect laughs as per norm. Sorry. Perhaps in the Limericks form, you always expect laughs as per norm. But I feel the style is very versatile. It can jab, analyze, or inform. So that is the format of the Limerick. And before I go on, I would like to take permission of the chair to introduce my co-panelists through some limericks. I'll read them out so that I don't make a mistake. So first, Mr. Debroy. I see Mr. Bibek Debroy, the chairman, EAC, enjoy the limerick rhyme. How do you find time? The man here's the real McCoy. An economist he is, yes, a Padma Shri winner, no less. But he's also a writer of the serious and lighter. It's lovely you're here, God bless. And now for Mr. Hpraz, whose name I found difficult. Mr. Hpraz, sir, I must admit, I could not get your name to fit the limerick meter, so then I turned cheater and put it in front. It's a hit. An ad man, satirist to boot, his business cartoons have borne fruit, got published as books, and I think it looks like Mo's going to soon follow suit. I don't know whether I should say about myself, but here it goes. In Kolkata lives a Miss Ray who loves spending time in wordplay. And the limerick rhyme is her passion, big time. The verse, be it clean or risque. So,
one more?
So limericks can be on various topics, and I see a lot of school students at the back. And I'd love to tell you all that limericks have been written on mathematics, on science, and of course now we are writing it on social issues. It can be on relationships, it can be politics, it can be on anything that you want to write on. The word does not always have to be at the end of the line, as you saw. You can cheat a bit and put it anywhere. I know there's a contest coming up, so this is just a tip. And I'd like to just, I don't know what I should read, but maybe one which is on a social issue. Okay, so here is a court case that was happening on a divorce, and the judge in the Bombay High Court, he observed that women should be following their husbands wherever they went, like Sita did. And of course, a part of this divorce case was that the woman in question was unwilling to follow her husband. So here it goes. The judge told her, swear on the Gita that you'll follow your husband like Sita. She said with a titter, I can follow on Twitter, but in real life, no way, wo din beeta.
Thank you. I think it's because it was mentioned, let me point out, although it has nothing much to do with this session, that in classic Sanskrit poetry, rhyming was not the critical element. There were other factors that went into the definition of various chandas, but rhyming was not one of those. When did rhyming start? And this is the reason why I'm saying it here. Rhyming is really associated with Jayadeva, Gita Govindam, and the poets who followed him. Something like the Shavatar Charitram from Gita Govindam, Pralaya Payodhi Jale Dhirtavanasi Vedam Vihita Vahitra Charitrama Khedam. That is post-Jayadev Sanskrit poetry, not pre-Jayadev. Limericks, of course, for limericks, rhyming is crucial. Limericks partly became popular because of Edward Lear, And those were nonsense rhymes, in a sense. In India, Satyajit Ray's father, Sukumar Ray, no relation, I think, wrote a lot of nonsense rhymes. They were not quite limericks, but they were nonsense rhymes. What Aparna Ray just pointed out is limericks are pithy ways of expressing views on subjects that are not necessarily just nonsense. Mr. Srivastava?
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Debroy and Ms. Aparna Ray. I think you have introduced the subject of limericks very well, and the academic touch has been given by Ms. Ray. Now, as you have all heard in jokes, that when somebody who wears a poet's hat, he doesn't leave the mic without reciting a few of his poems, and they are jokes that people run away. I hope that the audience will not run away, because I'll keep it short and simple. So here are a few of the limericks, along with some reference of the news item on which it was based. And these were shared on Twitter, because when I was introduced as a person from management and also doing business cartoons, I have not been doing cartoons for quite some time because of some health issue. But I enjoyed limericks written by Dr. Debroy, and that motivated me to try it out, because it's short, it was on news. The way one could draw and comment in an editorial cartoon, or on a business cartoon, or on a news-based cartoon, one could write it in words. And I'm really thankful to Dr. Debroy that he kept responding to it with liking, reposting, and that gave me a lot of good motivation, and I'm able to continue with the daily writing, along with sometime one or two more. So I'll just read a few which are based on news that you would be able to connect immediately, because these were popular news items. And some, if they are not that popular, they are more humorous. One is the latest news about Kerala cops, which are there on rent. The government has decided that police dogs and police force, officials and others, will be available on rent for various functions, including events and film shoots. So the limerick is based on that. In Kerala, you can rent a cop, dog, or even a police station. Filmmakers can now shoot crime scenes at a real location. The scheme has become controversial, as a dog's rate is more than an official. Actually, they have kept the rate of the dog higher than a police officer, a human being. Now, people have raised objections, but there is no explanation from the government. So my line ends at explanation, because it rhymes with police station and real location, and that's titled as Rent a Cop. The second one, I would say, is on Canada. Again, very much in news. So the title is Canada Can't, and you know very well why. But the limerick says, Trudeau calls it credible allegations of a possible link of Indian government and the killing of Khalistani Fink was told in Delhi what he lacks, that was again reported, on separatists and temple attacks. resulted in diplomats' expulsion. What do you think? And the third and the last one, which I would like to recite, is on the new NASA mission. Now, as Dr. Debroy has written a lot of things on Indian mythology, spirituality, and he also just now given an example to you. When we talk about it, people laugh at it as unscientific. And just now, NASA has appointed a director for UFO project, which they actually call, given a different name called UAP. So the limerick is based on that. The new NASA mission. The research on UFO now has a brand new name, Unidentified Anomalous Phenomena is in game, that is UAP. NASA has appointed a new director, not told the name to avoid specter, said the work is important, not a matter of shame. Thank you so much.
Yeah, sure. Use the mic.
Yeah. So I can't let it stop at NASA when we've just had the Chandrayaan moon landing. So here is a piece of that. The feat held us all captivated. Our eyes on our screens, we all waited. And then, what a boon, we are there on the moon, a witness to history created. Thank you.
I think I should say this, that quite often, this is a newspaper, often we regularly read newspaper columns, edits. Rarely is it the case that a newspaper edit or newspaper column survives the test of time. It's not meant to. It's topical. It's not perennial. Particularly some of the limericks that my co-panelists have mentioned, they're tied to a specific news item, which means they do not have long shelf lives, almost definitionally. And you also have to know about the news item that there is an allusion to. New Indian Express has organized a Litfest. A limerick will be judged the best. A student will get a prize, but it shouldn't be a surprise. There will be plenty of good ones among the rest. Now, this is topical. It will make sense tomorrow. It will not make sense 6 months from today. But there are some classic limericks which we keep citing over and over again, quoting over and over again, because they're just good fun and they've transcended time. And limericks, by their very nature, also have that quality. So do not get the impression that they are necessarily topical, although these examples are. Do you want to add?
Yes. So I completely agree. And limericks, as I said before, can be on anything. So we have a project, an international project called ODILF, which I think the MC mentioned. It is the Omnificent English Dictionary in limerick form. So where we could actually define words as a limerick and create a dictionary. It's a very ambitious project. It's an international project. But that's true. So you could take a word and you can define it using a limerick. So I just want to say, if I may, bystander. So we all know who a bystander is a chance spectator who does not really get involved. So we could say, a bystander simply will linger and watch while you go through the ringer. He may try to act nice by dispensing advice, but to help you, he'll not lift a finger. So these are words that, they are not topical, but they can be used, reused, and they can come from anywhere. It could come from, as I said, from science, chemiosmosis. Who can think that this could lend itself to a limerick? It seems dry, it seems difficult, but we could say something like this. What is chemiosmosis? A clue. It is the process where substances, two, through mutual attraction, get down through some action when a membrane lets one of them through. So any word, I think, used properly, any theme, any topic, and I think there are already some topics that have been given out, can lend itself to a limerick. It just, I think, forces us, not so much as a haiku perhaps, but forces us to make our thoughts concise, right? And think in really short anapathy form.
Yeah, I just dug this up. This is a famous one for people who are limerick fans. This was done by a mathematician. A dozen, a gross and a score, plus 3 times the square root of 4, divided by 7, plus 5 times 11, is 9 squared and not a bit more. It is actually an equation. It explains an equation and the sum adds up to 81. Mr. Srivastava, and just to make the point that limericks do not necessarily have to be in English, please go ahead.
Thank you. As Dr. Debroy has mentioned, that limerick is a poetic form. And in India, we have seen, especially because I know the language Hindi, that various poetic forms from other languages have been used by very, very well-known poets. Whether they have become popular or didn't become popular is a different matter. One example is ghazal, which is Urdu, has been written in Hindi by poets like Dushyant Kumar, Sherjang Garg, etc. Haiku has also been written by people in Hindi, and haiku have become very popular in Hindi, but in the literary circles. I tried out a few limericks in Hindi, and just to give you an example, that if I can write in Hindi, I'm sure somebody here can also write in Uriya. But please don't do it for today's competition, because we may not be able to judge that. Do it only in English. So the Hindi ones are, let me just, yeah. Now again, something that you have mentioned about moon mission. Now, that the first time it landed in South Pole, the India's ISRO's mission. So on that, the limerick says, Bharat chautha desh chand par, South Pole par pehla, Bharat chautha desh chand par, South Pole par pehla, प्लान दूसरा सोच के रखा था, दे नहले पर दहला। चंद्रयान जब चांद पर उतरा, ना कोई बाधा ना ही खतरा, डंका इसरो ने बजवाया, सोची समझी चाल चला, डंका इसरो ने बजवाया, सोची समझी चाल चला. That's one. Second news item was again not very much in news, but people on social media, on Twitter, have complained about power situation in Punjab. Has also been reported by other newspapers, but it has not been highlighted and has not become an issue on which there is public debate. And AAP party, although Dr. Debroy says that he doesn't write on politics, I do try my hand once in a while. So AAP won the elections on the basis of certain freebies, which today Congress calls guarantees. So the issue is electricity, place is Punjab, and just keep that promises on the back of your mind. पंजाब में बिजली गुल, पंजाब में बिजली गुल, नहीं कहीं है शोरो गुल, 24 घंटे बिजली गायब, आप बनाए आपको फूल, पूरा राज्य है उनके पास, फिर भी जनता झेले त्रास, अन्य राज्यों के चुनाव में क्या बोलेंगे मिस्टर कूल, अन्य राज्यों के चुनाव में क्या बोलेंगे मिस्टर कूल. थैंक यू.
When I write my limericks, I stay away from politics. But let me also point out that particularly on social media, you will find wonderful, wonderful limericks that are political in nature. Particularly in the last few days, there are several on Justin Trudeau, not only emanating from India, but from everywhere. But in passing, let me mention that when I started writing limericks recently, this regular newspaper feature was later. Initially, I started writing them on Twitter because, as I said, Twitter I found was amenably suitable to this 155-line character. When I started those, I used to do them in Bengali also. But I found that there weren't too many people who were responding to the Bengali limericks in limerick form. They were responding in other forms. So I sometimes wonder, and you are in a better position to answer that, given our legacy and heritage, perhaps the limerick structure is not something that intrinsically comes to us as a form of poetry, unless you're writing in English, because this is a five-line structure. Whereas classically, most of our poetry, every shloka used to be a four-line structure, and that extrapolated like Ashtapadi. So the four-line structure, the eight-line structure comes to us much more naturally. Just as some people, when they respond to a limerick, they don't stick to the structure, they switch to haiku. So maybe that is the reason why limericks have not really taken off as limericks, except amongst people who are very proficient with English and write in English.
I think, I'm not sure, but I think that could be true. I think English has a lot of formats with words which one can use. So you could use a homophone, for example. So you could have board and board. So I am bored and I'm sitting on the board. So they sound same. So you have a lot more similar sounding words that have different meanings and different spellings. And they lend themselves easy, I think, to the limerick format. In Bengali, when we try to write a poem, being a Bengali myself, I think it sort of, you can do the first two lines, and then because the second, the third and the fourth line have to be shorter and also rhyme, that's where I think the challenge comes. And then we could perhaps do the first, second, and the fifth, but getting the same meaning with two shorter lines in the middle could be a challenge. Maybe, and it's not a familiar format, possibly, but maybe I should try my hand at it next. If it can be done in Hindi, I'm sure we can do it in Bengali.
Do you want to read out some more? Do you want to read out some more of your limericks?
I know that Mr. Debroy said that, staying away from politics, and because limericks expects ribaldness and, kind of biting sarcasm, it could get personal sometimes, which we try to avoid. Is it something? Okay. And, but here is one piece that I had written, and it is on, after 34 years when the left front lost in West Bengal and we had a different government, which was, they were celebrating with green abir. So it was written then, and I think this is the least acrimonious of the political limericks. A comrade asked, wiping his tears, "We've been ruling for 34 years. From whence came this strange bong craving for change that landed this kick in our rears?" His friend answered him with a shrug, his arrogance intact, looking smug. "When people want clean, they somehow think green. I'm sure it's that climate change bug."
Okay, I'm told we now move on to the student contest. How is that going to be done?
And yes, we will get on with the contest that we were talking about. And you know, since we are talking on limericks, this is my first attempt, so I'm just going to say something. So there were once these 6 students who came from their school. They had a firm belief that they were quite smart and cool. So OLF 2023 took them for a limerick contest to test their talent and select the best. The winner, of course, would be the one who sticks to the rule. I don't know if I was good at that, but anyway, this is just what we are going to do to bring on the students. So yes, we have 6 students from 3 schools who have been shortlisted for this contest, and they'll come. They've been given a topic right now here when the panel was going on. So they've just done their bit right now, and they'll come read out their limericks one by one, and then we'll be giving a, can we get those sheets for our panelists, please? So that they have their names and the details, and then they can fill in the points, and at the end of the contest, we'll just select and we'll finalize the, the winners. So I'll get you the sheets before I invite the first student for this. Just a second. So the first one, we have 3 schools, like I said. We'll be inviting, judges will be just giving you the details, is Anushka Bhuiya. She's from Mother's Public School and class 11. And I need to hear a good applause coming for these young kids, because they've come all the way on a Sunday to take part in this, and we must cheer them up. So I would like to first invite her on stage if she's ready with a limerick, and she can come on stage and read it out. Mother's Public School. You can give it to them. All right. We'll go to Sai International School then. Tarun Tapan Bhuiya, class 10. Yes, he's ready. Hi, Tarun. Excited? Yes. Wonderful. The stage is all yours.
A very good afternoon. I was given the topic boredom, and here's my limerick. There was once a woman from Dallas. Her tongue was quite callous. She talked in a room which was filled with gloom, and to lose their boredom, they sent her to Buckingham Palace. Thank you. So my topic was boredom, and here goes my limerick. There was once a woman from Dallas. Her tongue was quite callous. She talked in a room which was filled with gloom, and to lose their boredom, they sent her off to Buckingham Palace. Thank you.
Well done, Tarun. We'll have the next one also from Sai International School. This is Arna Padhi, class 11. So just for our panelists, our judges, the first one was Tarun Tapan Bhuiya, class 10, Sai International School. And the next one would be Arna Padhi, class 11, Sai International School. I love the bag that she's flaunting as well.
So, a very good morning to everyone. My topic was day, and here's my limerick. Sometimes the cloud inflict light upon the ray that struggles to shine during the day. The evil vapors muffle the brightness, and the children settle into the mattress. The reason for skipping school they can now convey. Thank you.
So I request all students because they're judging it as well. So once you've said it once, say it another time. And before you start, although I'm announcing your names, it'll be nice if you introduce yourself with your name, your school, and then start with the limerick. All right? Perfect. Yes. Why not?
So here's my second time. I'm Arna Padi from Sai International School, and I'm here today to write a limerick. So here it goes. Sometimes the clouds inflict blight upon the ray that struggles to shine during the day. The evil vapors muffle the brightness as the children settle into the mattress. The reason for skipping school they can now convey. Thank you.
All right. Wonderful. The next one here would be Aparajita Mahapatra, class 11. Is this from Mother's Public School? Yes. So there's a little bit of change here. I'll let the jury know as well. So Aparajita Mahapatra from, please come on stage. Introduce yourself, your class and your school, and then with your limerick.
Hello everyone, I'm Aprajita Mahapatra from Mother's Public School. I'm in Standard 11 and I'm in Humanities. And here is my limerick. Standing beneath an olive tree, I ponder how cognition of Athena varies, the sweet priestess Medusa who hurries to pour sumptuous honey in the hearts of the folks who preach the wit of the deity. Here it goes again. Standing beneath an olive tree, I ponder how cognition of Athena varies, the sweet priestess Medusa who hurries to pour sumptuous honey in the hearts of the folks who preach the wit of the deity.
Thank you. We have another candidate from Mother's Public School as well. The name is Shreya Maharana. So, yes, she's here, Shreya. All dressed in the uniform, all of them proudly representing the school. Give your name, details.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Shreya Maharana from 11th Commerce. My topic was rain, and here's my limerick. In the pouring and unrelenting rain, a girl felt a heart-wrenching pain with a shove of his past, his memories vividly recast. Now she's found a new love and is sane. I repeat, in the pouring and unrelenting rain, a girl felt a heart-wrenching pain with a shove of his past, her memories recast. Now she's found a new love and is sane. Thank you.
We can do better, when we are applauding for these kids. I think we can, right? All right. So the next one would be from KIT International School. The first one would be Trisha Ratha, class 11.
There was once a man with a book. Beyond its pages, he didn't ever look. One day the pages frayed, the binding strayed, and when it tore, he was shook. Thank you. There was once a man with a book. Beyond its pages, he didn't ever look. One day the pages frayed, the binding strayed, and when it tore, he was shook. Thank you.
Good one. The next one from Kit International School would be Anushka Jena, again from class 11. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, let's just cheer them up. Yes, Anushka, all the best.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Anushka Jena from Kit International. Today, I'm presenting a limerick on the topic fun. Happiness and smiles and joy and glee and fun. It's the vibrance of being human, every step of the long run. The echo of a laughter, the colors we chase after. Experience it all. We're on borrowed time before the clock hands cease to turn. Thank you. I'll repeat it once again. Happiness and smiles and joy and glee and fun. It's the vibrance of being human, every step of the long run. The echo of a laughter, the colors we chase after. Experience it all. We're on borrowed time before the clock hands cease to turn. Thank you.
So yes, those were our 6 students, smart and cool. So a big round of applause for all 6 of them. And we'll just wait for a couple of minutes. Once our panelists are ready with the winners, we'll announce. So how many from mothers here? I mean, are there students? Yeah, make some noise for your school. Come on, mothers, make some noise for your school. Cheer your candidates, teachers, and everybody. Sai, how many from Sai International? You're not making noises. I can't hear any noise. So now I know there are candidates from Sai International School. What about Kit International? No noises again. Good kids. All right, so we'll just wait and then a few minutes and yes.
I think they're just a few minutes while they do the totaling. And in that time, can I just go ahead and just say a few things? Yeah, I'm going to use it as a filler. The BBC used to run lunchtime limericks, quite a fun kind of a contest at one point of time. And they used to give a line, a first line, and a lot of my friends also run similar things. So just want to read out one or two of them that had got past muster. So one line is, the advert says this cream does wonders. That's all what our creams say, don't they? So the advert says this cream does wonders, that it's one of life's true all-rounders. It can remove acne scars, it can be used to polish cars, and even cure a spouse who philanders. We could also have another one for Christmas or Diwali, for example. The season of spending is here. The season of spending is here, the miser, he thought with a sneer. I find it so trying to do this gift buying while keeping a cheerful veneer.
I am also marking time until the totaling is done. Judging these 6, we were in a fix. Most were good in style, but there was little to smile. They missed some standard limerick tricks.